this is money that was not warranted to you. Because at what time does the ministry get to know that these files are not proper so that they don't warrant the money?
Chair, when we received the cash limits, the HR department sat down and calculated what would be absorbed, and that's what we warranted in terms of gratuity and salary. Of course, we had expected recruitment, which didn't happen, and that's why we didn't warrant, because the ban on recruitment, we didn't warrant that money for salaries. Then for gratuity, it is a few files which were still under audit verification. Of course, we wouldn't pay until that process is completed. But I would request
the question is, are you the one who warrants the money?
Yes. Yes. We receive the cash limits and then we warrant to absorb.
Okay. So you decided not to do this?
Yes, we
because
didn't want to warrant.
You would lack absorption.
Yes.
Can you proceed?
Very clear that we can't even read what is written there. It comes in bits and doesn't make any sense. And we wanted to look at those partially implemented activities in that column. So I don't know whether there's a clear book which can show what the wording should be, because it should be an explanation that can help us to appreciate.
Yes.
Chair, I think it is a complete table, only that it is a table in a table. One of our auditors has gone for the computer so that we can have this all the words can be read.
Then we do the...
Mr. Chairman, as
maybe you can be proceeding to do other queries as we wait for the auditor to come. Thank you.
But the Auditor General, if you have text somewhere, you can read for us and we.
But the problem, it affects page 2, page 4. Honorable colleagues, let's, because we know what it is, where we feel is critical we can hold. But where we feel is not critical, we can soldier on. Because this partial, for example, table 2, where we are, the overall picture is that the indicative. So can we proceed? When we reach a table where we feel we need the detail for our clarity, then we will hold. So, utilization of warrants. You were warranted. I can get the end of the table. Yes, you are the warrant. You are the warrant of 106.4. You are able to utilize 103.57. You had 2,803,000,000. You did not utilize. And the monies, the monies that you do not utilize, table of underutilization, yes. For example, in human capital, 2.52 billion was boards, committees, and council allowances. Is this billions or millions? No, is it billion or millions? It is 2.5 million. Should we interrogate that, colleagues? Then the second one is 3.9 incapacity benefits. These are 33 billions advertising and public relations, books, periodicals, 8 million, information communication, special meals and drinks. You had money to feed patients and you did not utilize and did not feed the patients. That one we are going to explain. You had the medical supplies, a whopping 600 million, and then people are paying, are buying medicines outside. Laboratory supplies, 100 million. Consultancy, this other 3.359 for maintenance, machinery, equipment, and other transport. You had another 800 for pension, you did not pay. 800 million. You had another 522 for 21 for gratuity. Madam, can you realize this is alarming? Especially, we can, because of time, this advertising, information, communication technology, it is critical, but that's 5 million. But these special meals, where the hospital?
Chair.
Yes?
Thank you very much, Chair. Chair, special meals is just one of them. But I want to appreciate Madam Edie for the milestones the institution continues to achieve. But the unfortunate thing is, if your planning is not be used there. So whereas food, as Chair has raised, is important, but even all this money here. So it means we're holding money here when other entities will
No, but don't first take us there.
Yeah.
On the overall picture. Let first, Madam, explain why you had money not feed them, and the money was swept back. I think that's critical.
Well, thank you, Chair. Last financial year was a unique one. Actually, most of this money was released in Q4, and that means we had only like 2 months. And some of these procurements could not have...
Let me just take you slow. This is for special meals. This is 132 million. I think, do you have a supplier?
A service provider.
A service provider?
Yes, we have
Now,
framework contracts.
You contract this work?
Yes, framework contracts, and we make call-offs.
Yes. If you have a contractor during a financial year and you are warranted the money in the last quarter, why don't you effect payment to the contractor who has supplied you meals for the whole year?
Before we get money, it's also risky to commit these companies to supply because we are not getting enough money in the first, second, third quarter. So we are not sure. So when we got money in the last quarter, of course there are dry rations which they can supply.
First take us through your budget line. I don't know whether it is you or a planner. Is the planner here?
No.
What was the money allocated in the budget for meals and for welfare? No. For special meals and drinks. What was the budget? Planner, what's your budget line? In the budget now, I want in the budget.
Chair, in our budget we had 1.4 billion.
1.4 billion?
Yes, and that's what we were able to absorb up to that level. But Chair, also to add, that is at the end of the financial year when the system never cleared them off.
You committed this was committed fund.
You think these were committed funds that were swept back?
Some were swept back.
What is some?
This is the story.
Chair, for
Because
example,
I'll ask you, because we've been at audit and we don't take a lot of time. The auditor, when did you audit this institution? Which month? When did you exit your last exit meeting?
On November.
It was around November. Now, you know, for example, if you have committed funds up to September, and they were in a queue, they still pay. So we know how the system works. So don't take us that route, sir. If you have committed to pay, at least the system closes on 15th of June, okay? But if you have already entered payment and there is money on your budget line, you have up to September to ensure that payment is effected for those invoices to materialize.
Chair, this didn't happen.
It can't fail to happen. It is systems. With infamous, it is systems.
So tell us what happens when you send these invoices for payment and the year ends.
Honorable Chair, and in addition, the accounting officer was very clear that we did not pay for these special meals because we received the money late. She was very clear. Only that the planner is trying to craft a way forward. The question was very clear from your accounting officer. Do we have framework contracts with the providers that we use? Now that the money came late, we need to know, when did you get this money? When did the money come?
It's about April.
Yeah.
It's
April,
not
June.
about, it's in April.
April, June.
April, May,
3
June.
months.
Money doesn't come in the last days of June.
Members for framework contracts, a person already is known. It's only to just inform that you give a call off. It doesn't go again into the whole procurement process. I think that's how it works, you know.
So the question of procurement process doesn't arise. That the money was in the pipeline and it closed doesn't arise. So do you have an answer? And you don't pay. I don't buy them meals.
Chair, it's a call of really, it's a process, and the procurement requisition maturing into an LPO, and then the supplier completing the supply and producing an invoice and us processing payment. I think that is where we were caught up, and we apologize for that.
The accounting officer should not take us into that direction. The reason as to why you have framework contracts is to ease work. And can you take us through, for example, if you have, say, an order for special meals, how long does it take you, for example, for the user department to initiate a requisition? The requisition, all the operators of the system are on table. If procurement is, how long does it take you to process an LPO, to process an LPO and it goes to the supplier? And how long does it take the supplier to give a service? In brief, explain to us, what is this special meals? Actually, what are the details of the special meals? Is it food fully prepared? Is it posho? Is it cassava? Yes, we need to know, because we are talking about special meals and the details are not given. Tell us that we can know whether somebody had to go to Mbale to bring matoke and the cab, got issues along the way and they could not deliver in time. Because sincerely, with due respect, this cannot arise. You cannot justify failure when you have a framework contract with your providers and you fail to buy meals for the patients. This is pure unacceptable, accounting officer.
Now, okay, madam, explain the second segment. 624 million for medical supplies. You see, agencies are struggling to get money. For you, you have the money. This is for medical. You are not supplied by national medical stores, are you? You do your own procurement.
Chair,
You do your own
there are
procurement.
supplies which we get from,
This is
but
the money.
there are also supplies of specialized medicines which we procure as an entity.
So this 600 was of which nature?
This was from what we procure as an entity.
Yes,
So when we receive the money, Chair, and we make call-offs, these entities, some of them were unable to complete the delivery because some of those medicines they have to order from out. They may not have the quantities, and of
So
course,
do you have companies that failed to order? Can you give us those companies? That those suppliers that failed to meet their own obligation? Because you see, this is about health. Okay? We give you to supply medicine, we avail the money. You a supplier. You don't supply. Will you retain the same? Will you be? We look into your contracts. You are killing people. Government has availed the small money you need. 600 is not small money, and 24 million. So can you give us those? Do you have the list of your medical supplies and those that failed?
okay, we can avail that list, but specialized medicines are a little bit special. Yes.
The whole of the 600 is specialized.
Yes. And when you make an order, some of those drugs, it's a long list. They may supply 90%, and whatever they fail, if they have not completed the whole invoice, we cannot pay. And sometimes if they want to supply and we see it's a short shelf life, we don't accept.
Because, madam, when you read 624 million for supplies, medical supplies, 108 million for laboratory supplies. This is about treating people. Go down, I think even this consultancy may be in the same category. Go down, equipment, maintenance of machinery and equipment, 359. Of course, pension 800 million and gratuity. This money is for elderly people who have worked. They are pensioners, they are your employees. You sweep it back. Just these two are over $1 billion. Meant for you. You are going to retire. For you may be under contract. But these other lower cadres, they are going to retire. And in their old, they need this money. You swept it back. So when you add these things, these are very sentimental issues for you not to have been able to absorb the funding. Because we would be talking about arrears, not so. We would be in a hospital. If you told us because of emergencies we spent more money. Two, these supplies are predictable. Much as they are specialized, you predict that this is the year, your suppliers know this is what you want, this is what you consume. So that list is a little bit hurting.
Chair, truth be told, it is the late release of funds in the last quarter. Some of these drugs, because they are imported, reagents have short shelf life. You cannot keep them on shelf here. Even the suppliers will bring in when they get orders. And there's a lead time.
Honorable colleagues, what do we do?
Chair, if she says that it also has a short shelf life, these people have been there, they have worked, and then you keep their money and send it back. Really? That is being insensitive.
I'll ask.
Who is your planner?
Can explain.
Commissioner HR, what happened? And by virtue of this, I think you're now going to have arrears unpaid. Yet you had the money. What you supplied your pension. You gave them air. No, you go ahead.
Sorry about that.
No, I'm just, that's what exactly you got the... Okay.
Yes, normally we have a process before a pension file is finally paid. Now, when we initiate a pension file, we have documents that are required. We go through audit, and then when audit has approved, that's when it gets back to the accounting officer.
But why do you make us tired? Because in the earlier argument, for the unwarranted money, you did not verify, and you never warranted that money. So can you drop that argument?
What is even most annoying
Because
is
up there you
verifying people who have been working.
No, not verified. Earlier they've told us why some money was not warranted. It's because they had not verified.
I think
And
these
it is
people are just
gratuity.
sleeping on
Now,
it.
you cannot bring the same argument on this table. We are listening. So now continue. Give us another argument. And do you know what you created? You created areas that should not have been created. And when you reach for where who gave you authority to create areas, it's not as simple as you think. But you continue.
Yeah, thank you, Chair. Because the funds were released late, we could not warrant all the funds.
We have finished the question of warrant. I said here, I will give us an question of warrant. We took with the courtesy of Honorable Modimi, who accepted and said these are thorough. They don't warrant money where they have not verified. And that was, now don't import it here.
Why we could not absorb, Chair, is that at the time we had these funds, the files were not ready for payment because of the processes.
You man, are you being serious?
Honorable Chair, that means the head HR accounting officer, what would have happened? This same money wouldn't have been warranted because you are not ready. Simple, you are not ready and you would have left them use that money for something else. You go ahead to convince your accounting officer that you can use the money. It is given to you and not utilized. And Honorable Chair, we should be sensitive. We are talking about pensioners.
Mr. Chairman, this one points towards connivance because to use, unless you have some hidden whatever intentions.
Let me ask you,
Chair, I was also looking at the how do you work without guidance of the board?
But if you had to ask it, what was the budget? The budget on pension and gratuity. So that means out of those two, if I take 2.48 plus 840.331 plus 500 and gratuity, they did not pay 5. Here they did not pay. We need also beyond this to go. What was warranted on gratuity?
Chair,
for gratuity.
Chair, I don't have the figures right here.
Get them and their names, and I'll write to them that you never paid them. You had the money. I'll tell my secretariat to write to them, say the HR never paid you. He had the money, and I know some of them know you.
Chair.
I write to them and say, your name is who, mister?
Yeah.
No, what is your name? I write to them, tell them, what is your name?
And give them the address.
I'll give them the address and tell them that gentleman in the financial year had your money, he never paid you, he took it back to government.
Chair, number 11, medical supplies and services. It is still itching me. I'm concluding maybe that is the very reason it intentionally to fail ordinary Ugandans so that their pharmacies can sell medicine and outside. So, Madam Idi, please, Can you explain that?
For machine maintenance and equipment, you took it back. Sure. He had no machines here to spend this money on. Or it was on a specific line. Was it on a specific supplier?
Chair, thank you. As I explained, that we had frameworks and we made orders, and people could not, the companies could not complete because of the lead time of many of these items, and we could not pay incomplete deliveries. Then for servicing, when we got the money in that last quarter, and you call on the service providers, they have the items which they also use to service. This equipment is not like, they order, and sometimes those things are manufactured on order, the filters, the what, and they could not complete the service, and we couldn't pay before
Madam,
they complete the service.
Can you read what the auditor observed that was not done because of this? Just read it for yourself. I don't want to read, the media is there. Things that were not done. They are there in bullets, 3 of them.
Yes.
Say, because of I had the money, I want you to put it in these words. Because I didn't utilize it, the following were not done in this hospital.
That includes...
No, you repeat what I said. No. As a result of my failure to utilize the money, the following were not done in this hospital. What you failed to do, it's money to do this, and the government provided it. Because of my failure, the following were not done. Yes.
Chair, maybe for not utilizing the warrants. You see, you get a warrant and you cannot utilize the money until you get a release. Okay,
yes.
So,
Honorable Choma,
yes, Chair.
That explanation we can get from them. Insist.
Yes, Chair.
Members to desist from volunteering answers.
Oh, Chair.
Yes, no, that's a standard line.
But I was wondering because now...
No, you can't wonder.
A warrant and the release...
You take over the principal accountant here and you wonder very well. You wonder from this side, not here. There is a side where you can't dream. The extras know. There's a post where you can't even dream.
Whether we are going to be like this